enough to blend with the weave, because the weave that I'm going to be using is a Brazilian Peruvian kind of situation. I'll try to leave the link to any products I use in this video in the description as well. I am an Amazon partner, and so it would be coming from my affiliate links, but I'm sure you don't want to go outside and look for these yourself. So now what you're watching me do is braid down my leave out. I parted it on both sides, again leaving minimal out on the sides so that it can cover the track, but not enough to disrupt the overall texture of the weave when I put it in. Braiding down the sides of your hair with the leave out is super important, because sometimes what you'll find is if you are doing your own sew-ins for the first time, or you've been doing them for years, you don't want to get any strays caught in the thread, because that'll just straight up cut off your hair. I learned that the hard way. So you definitely want to braid down the sides, not super tight because they're not going to stay in the braid, but just to keep them away from the rest of the hair while you are sewing in the hair, so that it does not get caught in the thread, because the thread is not your friend. The thread is just there to keep keep the tracks in the braid. And I also like to leave out the back of my hair too, like a little bit of leave out, because sometimes at my shoots, sometimes they want to see a ponytail. Sometimes if I have to do a self-tape audition, they want to see a ponytail. They want to see the nape of my neck, and it cannot just be all track. That's not going to work. They will be like, immediately delete, she is not getting this job. So I do leave a very thin strip of hair in the back out, in case I want to do some type of ponytail. Even if it's a low ponytail, trust me, you can see a track. Now the fun part, we're getting to the first braid. Now I like to braid, I don't know if that would be considered horizontal, but I definitely like to like kind of braid alfalfa style, where the middle is straight up but the sides are kind of going straight down the side. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but at least you can see it here in this video. And for some reason that makes the sew-in super flat. I think it's because the track will ultimately sit on what will look like a grid. So with the direction that the braids are going, the track is going to sit opposite of that, and I think that gradient I know they told me that girls that can braid hair are whole mathematicians in this world, and I guess that's true, because now that I'm thinking of it, I think the reason why it sits flat when I braid it that direction and have the track sit on an opposite direction is because the bulk of the track and the bulk of the braid will create a grid, which is ultimately flat. So if you look at a hashtag style grid, it lays flat. And then every time I leave out hair to braid, I definitely put the rest of my hair in a ponytail, so again, strays don't get caught in weird places, because you do not want any stray strands to be caught in thread, because the thread will cut the hair off and the hair will just keep cutting. That's how you get thinning in certain areas and yada 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 yada. Now, I want to pinpoint that I'm not an esthetician. I just really love doing my own hair, my own nails, my own makeup. I really like learning my own look. So these are all wild guesses, but I'm pretty sure that any esthetician would agree. The part that is the most difficult is that top part that's right around the leave out. Now, what I found has been most effective in getting my weave to lay really flat is to kind of braid in an X. Braid that area that's right by the leave out in an X. So you'll see how I do that here. You braid the first one straight back as opposed to down the side like I was doing with the other braids. Braid that straight back, and then you're going to braid the other side. Yep, straight all the way back. and then you're gonna braid the other side and crisscross it where it meets. I wish I could zoom in so you can see the technique I'm using with my fingers. Maybe I'll do that in another video, but you can see the technique I'm using with my fingers to part the hair without being able to see, because I can't see the top of my head from the front. So it really has to be your fingers doing a lot of the work. Yep, you just braid that all the way back and all the way down. This is true sorcery. You know, I probably could have figured out some style with just the braids being right there, but you know, I love a bust down, child, I do. And as you can see, take that out of the ponytail and then make sure that's laying flat, and then I do the exact same thing on the other side, except I am going to crisscross this one. Yes, ma'am. Make sure that part is nice and slick, because again, the goal is to not have any strays caught in thread. And I've come a long way. I mean, my sew-ins used to be super loose braids. I didn't really understand patterning for a while, so like it'd be bulky in some areas. Also trying to sew the which I'll show a little bit later in the video, but trying to sew the hang time of the braids was a real struggle for you, girl, because your arms are already so tired from braiding your own hair that you're like, damn, do I really have to organize this leave out? But yes, you absolutely do, because when the day comes that you want to do that ponytail and you have a little bulk right there, you're going to be annoyed. So just take the time out to sew the hang time in between each braid so it can really be flat. But I'll show you the back of my hair. I'm already kind of showing it here. I'll show you the back of my hair and how I get that done a little bit later in the video. Also, if you're wondering what song is playing, that is me. That is moi. It is my song Calling Me, available on all platforms. Go ahead and stream that or watch this video. I mean, either way, still coming to me. And here's just a little more braid action for you, just so you can see what direction the rest of the braids are going to be in. Shout out to Retinol for keeping my skin together, because I have zero makeup on in this video. Another thing that I didn't really show but is equally as important is to figure out how you're going to keep those braids moisturized for the duration of the time that you have the weave in. Now, I didn't do that with this particular sew-in because I was on a time crunch and I just wanted to go just from singles braids, which I also did myself. I should probably do a video on that. I wanted to go from singles straight to a weave, so I didn't really do the whole moisture routine of my braids in this video, but super important to figure out how those braids underneath the weave is going to be moisturized, because you're protecting them. This is generally a protective style, which means your hair has an opportunity to grow and be nourished and be untouched underneath this weave. So make sure that them strands are moisturized. I don't know if you need to wet your hair and put something in it, or if you need to maybe put a leave-in mask on it. Do something to make sure that those braids are moisturized, because even though they're being kept away, further away from the element, they're still alive, and your pores still need basically a backup tank to live off of, because you can't touch them. Yeah, just going straight back, straight down. And I don't know if you can see it, but I'm not braiding the hair into the leave out. I was braiding it into each braid. Like if it's a skinny braid, it's just gonna go in another braid. That gives me less to sew. And that is, yes, that is the braid pattern to make sure that once you sew in that weave, it's gonna lay real flat. And that's it, sewn. As you can see, a lot of those hang time went into the spaces in between the cornrows. And this is the sew-in. You also want to sew in flat, like use the row of braid as your point of contact with the needle and thread. And this is it. Yes, 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 a nice slick bust down middle part. And as you can see, it's very, very flat because of that specific pattern. And there you have it, kitties. How I get my sew-in to be flat, flat, flat. I'm probably gonna change the hair in 2 days anyway. So thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.